On the 12th day of 31 Days of Comics, we are given the prompt, a great holiday comic. And although unplanned, that works out quite appropriately because we're at Christmas. Merry Christmas to all those who celebrate it. This period of time, the Christmas holidays, or maybe Christmas to New Year's, and maybe for our American friends, Thanksgiving to New Year's, is widely referred to as the holidays or the holiday season. So the first way of interpreting this, because of where we are in the year, might be a great Christmas holiday comic or a Christmas season comic. But of course, Christmas and the Christmas holidays are just one. There are so many religious and cultural holidays all across the world, many of which I've had the good fortune of participating in and many of which remain for me to discover. So a great holiday comic could be interpreted as a great comic about any of those holidays. Now, of course, a comic about a holiday or set around a holiday, no matter which holiday, is just one way of interpreting a holiday comic. The other obvious way is a comic you read while on holiday. Once I take all the various religious and cultural festivities and mix them together with things like Independence Day or Republic Day, bank holidays or government holidays, national holidays, once I mix all of these together, what I get is a return to the absolute origin of the word holiday for me, which is a day you don't have to go to school. Later adapted to a day you don't have to go to work. Any day you don't have to go to school or don't have to go to work is a holiday. Actually, many years ago, when I first started working, I said, oh, the 15th is a holiday. And someone said, what's the 15th? And I said, that's a Sunday. And they said, that's not a holiday, that's the weekend. I think they were making a social or political distinction that I'm not going to unpack over here, but I'll leave that up to you whether you would consider a weekend comic read to be a holiday comic read. An additional layer to thinking about holiday is a holiday can be a single day, the holiday, but it could also be a collection of days off. So you could refer to that as holidays or the whole thing together as a holiday, and a holiday might bring you closer to the idea of vacation. That is not only days off from school or work, but also when you leave or go somewhere specifically. So yet another interpretation of a great holiday comic might be a great vacation comic, something you take with you to read, either on the journey, at the destination, or both. So reading on flights or reading on trains, one of my absolute all-time favorite things to do, or reading on a beach or reading on a balcony overlooking the mountains where you are. Whatever it is you've picked for your vacation/holiday and however you accommodate reading into it. Sometimes people like to read about their vacation destination when they're traveling. If you're traveling to Greece, read something about Greece. If you're traveling to India, read something about India. That could be fiction or non-fiction. It could be to get you into the mood or to accent the mood. There are so many different ways to mix in reading and traveling, some of which I've even attempted to vlog about on this channel. But for me, even now, when I think about holiday, I am immediately taken to my childhood and the idea of the summer holidays, the summer vacation. Summer vacations when I was a child did have a destination, traveling to meet extended family and other family members that our nuclear family was a little removed from because of my father's job and location. But it also meant this endless time of a relaxed schedule where you could wake up in the morning and start reading something all the way up to lunch and then read again until you were called away and summoned for various family activities. And comics have often been a major part of those experiences. First, the long train rides to get from the city that we were in to the cities that we wanted to get to were often a day and a half or 2 days long. And not only would I start that journey with a stack of comics, but that stack of comics would quickly be read through and needed to be replenished at railway stations that we stopped on along the way in those 2 days. Similarly, those comics that I read in the long, hot afternoons when you couldn't step outside finished very quickly and needed to be constantly replenished. Which is why I think as I grew older, I read more and more prose during my vacations. Prose novels seemed to last longer, but they were also richer and deeper, appealing both to the escapism of summer reading, of losing yourself completely in another world and another set of circumstances, and the culminating reward of the story stacking up day after day, chapter after chapter. Which is what brings me to the way I have picked my selection for today's prompt. I went back to the summer childhoods and tried to find a comic that I would give to myself that gave me the joy of prose, gave me the texture, the length, the depth of it, while also giving me the visceral thrill and joy of reading short chapters in comics. A long-form epic that captured the escapism of summer, but also the intensity of deep, rich storytelling. And after 11 days of comics worth of denying one of my favorite comics a place in this show, finally on day 12, my selection is indeed Bone, written and drawn by Jeff Smith, published in black and white by Cartoon Books and in color by Scholastic. Bone is an all-ages epic fantasy comedy adventure that is honestly one of the best comics of all time. I'm a big fan of Bone. Just search for the love of comics Bone and you'll see how many videos I do have on this excellent series. And not only would I love to go back in time and give this book to young me for the summer, I would really love this to become a summer holiday, summer vacation reading tradition for everyone. There's something so wonderful about the way the 9 volumes of Bone are paced. You'll start off your carefree summer with a comedy of manners and fish out of water, and then things will get more deep and involved and dark until you're getting to an incredible epic climax that you really wouldn't have foreseen right at the beginning. At the same time, the warm, friendly characters will take you from that early carefree start all the way to that end by getting you more and more invested in their flaws and their heroism. All of the things that make Bone a great comic are so well appreciated when you read it continuously, volume after volume, with as few interruptions and breaks as you can manage. And while life can be busy and overwhelming and it's hard to make the time at most times, a holiday in many ways for me and many people I know is just another opportunity to do some reading and to catch up on some reading. I've read Bone a number of times, and I'm not saying that I'm going to read this in the next vacation or holiday I have. So in all honesty, this is just another excuse for me to say, if you have not yet read Bone, or if you know someone who has not yet read Bone, and there's a vacation or a holiday coming up, it's the perfect match. Which is not to say it's the only perfect match. It all depends on what you mean by holiday, what you're interpreting this as. So I'd love to know what you think of the prompt, a great holiday comic, and what your pick for this prompt would be. A very Merry Christmas, and in case I don't see you before the end of the year, a very Happy New Year. Although I am going to try and sneak in maybe one video or maybe even a live stream before then. As always, I love reading your comments. Thank you so much for watching this video and throughout this year. This has been For the Love of Comics, and I'll see you at the next video.